You know what? Let's just say request autosave here. And we'll get rid of that extra return value. Because we like things simple. I'm gonna call this request autosave. Gonna go back there. Gonna go like that. What are my goals for the day? I don't know. We are professionally gramming autosave. So we made things on the last stream save in a separate thread. This morning I fixed some bugs with that and made it atomic. I guess there weren't really, oh, there was a bug. It wasn't about the separate thread part. It was about something else that maybe I will investigate today. So now when the rest of the game says, hey, we visited a level, or hey, we solved a level, if that's new information, then we're going to trigger autosaves of the campaign. There are additional questions that will arise later when we start saving undue data, but for now, we're just doing this. So we're going to request an autosave if we make a new entry in the hash table of levels that we visited, or if we ever set that we solved something to true. That's great. Request autosave is going to be we may call this multiple times in one frame. We don't want it to do any real work. We just save we want an autosave to happen variable so that so that saves can happen during a known clean time between frames, right? Because you don't, like if you're like updating some entities in the middle of doing stuff and you save the state, you like might save the state. I mean, maybe right now I happen to know that I'm saving the state and the place I'm calling it from is fine, but if you don't very explicitly document these things, or even if you document them, if you don't constrain them, they tend to drift over time, or it just increases the amount of unsureness that people have over what's going on. So this is just gonna say auto save requested is true. That's all. Okay, and then we're gonna make campaign per frame updates. Okay, this is just gonna say if no autosave requested, we return. Otherwise, we say, well, save campaign. Okay. And save campaign, we'll work on that later. Let's not rat hole. Okay, well, so first of all, we're not programming in C++. Second of all, we never called this. By the way, I woke up really early today. I went to sleep at 2 a.m. and woke up at like 7:15. So we're going on 5 hours of sleep. I don't know why I woke up so early. It didn't make any sense. Game loop. Where's the loop? Main loop. Okay. Do one frame. I mean, we could do that in okay, let's do it in simulate. That's better. Okay. Note visit. We changed that to not return two values. All right. Is there a performance benefit to putting the more likely branch first? No, not on modern computers. Well, I guess it depends on what you mean exactly. Okay, so I'm going to solve this level. Whoops. Okay, I solved this level. I went here. Hey, look, we're saving the game every frame because I don't set the variable to false. That is what happens when you program on 5 hours of sleep and then get up and start to stream. So let's not do that. Boy. All right, well, at least we really saved our progress so that when we came back, we could do this. What do I think of PuzzleScript? Do I think a rule-based engine could be a good tool? Not for, like, PuzzleScript is obviously good for what it is. Like, a lot of people have made creative things with it. I was actually surprised because I don't normally think that that general category of thing is that great, but PuzzleScript turned out really good. But even PuzzleScript users know that it has some very serious limitations, and once you start going outside those limitations, it becomes really ugly to try to do things in PuzzleScript. So there's this thing where it's really easy for a little bit, and then it gets really ugly, right? And that kind of system, that's just a property of that kind of system, and I don't really know how to solve that. Doesn't mean you can't solve it. Hey, look, we auto-saved, and we're not even auto-saving every frame. If I go here, and then I exit, all right, let's do it real fast. Bam, bam. Oh, wait. That was the last level. Like, I hit bracket, and it changes to the same level. I want to go left, and then Alt F4. Bam, bam. That might have been too fast. I might have, like, hit Alt bracket. Because I didn't see the scene change. Wait, is that not going down a level? Is this the Nexus level? No. Okay, oh, it's because there was a lag in loading the assets. I don't know, let's try it now. Okay, I saw it change that time. So are we going to be there? No. So we exited like before it had time to save the file. I don't know if I care that much about that right now. So now, oh no, actually, even now it won't have saved. And the reason why is because we're only triggering a save when we visit a new level. And this isn't a new level. We've been to this level, right? So we're triggering autosaves when we flag new like level visited or whatever. But we also, I guess, want to request autosave anytime we change a level. So like advanced level, let's say request autosave. Okay, so now if I go there, Alt F4, looks like it saved. Yep. Bam, bam. Yep. Okay. So now we autosave. That's great. Yeah, the blue beam is the steroid beam. That's exactly right. Would it be possible to add also window goes to background? Maybe, but it won't matter yet because we don't actually save any of your undo data within a level. So right now what we're saving is just what level you're on and what levels you solved and all that stuff. So it won't matter to save in the middle of a puzzle solving session yet. That is going to happen. It's on the list. It just doesn't matter yet. So we're going to check this in. Autosave campaign when various things happen. Okay. So I want to do some cleanups. So one thing that happened is some of the save file stuff, I was compiling with the x64 backend last night when we were working, and some of the save file stuff we were doing was generating errors in the LLVM backend because it was treating things real weird, some intrinsics weird. So I'm going to try swapping these intrinsics back. So this save thread should stop. We made that a Boolean, and LLVM backend was not happy with that. So the first thing we're going to do is this, and let's see what happens. No, it's still, oh, I haven't rebuilt my compiler. Well, oh no. Okay. I can't build the compiler locally on this machine because I still have like lots of modifications. But we don't need to build the compiler for this. We just need a new executable, which it looks like I got. So let's hope that nope. Nope. So we, whoops. What is going on? All right. So let me send a quick email about that. Just pulled down a new compiler executable right now, and it still freaks out when I call atomic swap on bool. Okay, so part of this discussion that we were having in email was what happens if you call some intrinsics on Boolean arguments? So we have these polymorphic intrinsics, right? Compare and swap and all that stuff. It makes sense to do those on a bool, right? But what happens if you call like atomic add or atomic increment on a bool? And it's like, well, if you're wearing a programming language theory hat, it's like, well, a bool represents a 1-bit value and blah, blah, blah. But these are machine level intrinsics, Okay, they're not about 1-bit values. And our bool type is also not defined to be a 1-bit value. It's defined to be an 8-bit value. So we're just going to disallow these in the front end. Like if you try to call these on bool, we'll just say, look, buddy. Oh, I can't do it on this computer, though, because I can't rebuild the compiler. Oops. OK, well, I explained that, but I can't do it right now. OK. All right, so I want to improve the hygiene of this save stuff a little bit. So this save thread proc I want to like sort of quarantine it into its own file so we can at least tell what is going on. I want to get rid of this. Just simplify that out. And then I'm going to put these things here. I have quarantined the campaign stuff that needs to run in a separate thread into this file. This should help with clarity. Eventually we can do some static checks to ensure only authorized things happen here. Because you want to be careful when you're running in a separate thread. OK, so just do a quick look for globals over here that we might have been referencing. I don't see any. These are all file scope, which means if this guy tries to read these, he won't see them. I don't think he will. So we got to load this. And add it to source control. And then we run, and let's make sure we still save. Looks like we saved. All right, great. Put threaded campaign save stuff into its own file. Into its own file. Oh yeah, that was just adding that. I was like, why did I change main? Oh yeah, because we're loading a new file. Do I not need a predicate for the condition? Dude, I don't remember about condition variables. It's just a thing that we wait on and that we signal. It's not a complicated thing. Why can't you build the compiler on this machine? Because I have a lot of local modifications that are not done. So if I build the compiler on this machine, it will not compile programs correctly. Why do I call a special function to set the do autosave variable instead of setting it directly? Because it's abstraction. Abstraction is not always bad, okay? It is not always bad. Does SVN support feature branches? I don't know what that means exactly. I mean, yes, you can make branches. I don't tend to do that. I don't tend to bother. But usually I don't leave things checked out for this long. It's just I was in the middle of something and then decided to do other things. Okay, so we put that in a separate file. So this thing, I made something in file utilities. Okay, let's just add that comment. What the hell just happened? No. Yeah, that's called a branch. I don't know why it's a feature branch. Yeah, you got to be very specific about what you're doing, in my opinion. So one thing that's bugging me, another very minor cosmetic thing, is we have all these save campaign things. And these ones are the old thing that did the undo data. And it's confusing, so I'm going to call this save undo data for well, we're just going to call it save undo data for now. And load undo data. These don't even take the right arguments now. Whatever. Who calls these, if anyone? Nobody. Great. So the other thing I want to do is this thing should take the entity manager, I guess. No, not yet. Okay. Then what? When a save game fails, we don't ever report that anymore. So save campaign ostensibly returns bool, but the problem is it can't now because this is asynchronous. Doesn't return anything because we won't know if we failed until much later. See, campaign save has failed. Okay, so somebody's going to not like that. Yeah. So instead of this, so here we're going to have to say this probably was not set by the immediately prior call to save campaign, but rather one that happened a while ago on some previous frame. Okay, so Well, what do we say if campaign save has failed? We'll just do this. And then we'll say error, the game is unable to save your progress. This is a user-facing message. So let's just go ahead and do this. We're going to have to make a better format for this at some point. Okay. Data strings PO. Save it. All right. Great. So where did we leave off? Okay, well, okay, that's where we left off. Okay. Report failed save. Return. Indicate. Flag failed save. Okay. So Q file for saving is down here, and we're going to go to this other thread. And this guy knows if we failed. So many steps. So many steps. Basically, actually, we're going to do this. Save succeeded is true. So instead of having to worry about all these fail branches, this is why people who think exception handling helps you handle errors are goofballs. Because you need to handle errors at least by reporting what actually happened accurately. And that requires you to have the logic to look at the specific errors and deal with them appropriately. You don't just like throw it out the window and hope somebody else will deal with it, because they won't. They won't. Okay. So then, if save did not succeed, flag failed save. All right. Flag failed save is just going to be what do we have for atomics? Atomic atomic swap. I guess that's how we set things. Atomic swap campaign save has failed. Oh, God damn it. We're going to have this LLVM backend problem again. To 1. Not a big deal. We'll just have to change both of these later. And then has failed is atomic swap of we reset it back to 0. If it has failed, then we report a save error. So now we're going to have to monkey a failure. Oh, too many return values still. All right. Well, let's see if we actually successfully save. Still looks like we did. We didn't generate an error. So now let's go to, where's my save folder? Oh. Okay. We're going to make this read-only. Boom. Well, error, failed to do atomic replace, but we didn't get a message. Why didn't we get a message? Oh, we did there. Maybe we did, but just loading the level took so long that the message faded out. And then we'll flag this back to true. It's a little bit sloppy that we leave this laying around, but that might actually help. Because if this ever happens, then at least their game gets saved in this file. It's just the wrong name. That was weird. It took an extra time, and then it started working. Okay. Okay. Anyway. Where do I code my game rules in the entities? No. No, programming them in the entities would be an object-oriented approach, which I don't tend to do. Because game rules are about how things interact, okay? And when two objects interact, the behavior does not belong to either object. It's just part of the system. Oh, it's a good point. We moved the webcam because of PUBG last night, and let's put it back. Okay, so I mean, I'm not really thrilled by how many weird delays there were, but for all I know, that was the window. Like, I don't know, like if I click not read only and then apply, I don't actually know how long that file operation takes to happen. Like, just because I say that in the UI doesn't mean it actually happened. I don't know. Let's make sure that we don't have a super dumb bug, though. So in the per frame update, we atomic swap to 0, so it should be 0 after every time we read it. Let's see, okay. Let's start up again. Okay, so I'm going to go make it read-only again. Okay. Okay. So this bothers me. I think there's a super dumb bug because we got this error, failed to do atomic replace, but we didn't get a visual error, right? Why not? Why not? And then I'll check it back. Okay. And then we get the message. Wait, did we put the error reporting in the wrong place? No, it's in per frame update. Oh God, okay, this is old. See, we only do this, this isn't actually happening every frame. Because the only this is what happens in programming all the time. The only purpose of this used to be to do the autosave, so I just returned at the beginning if it was not requested, and then of course I didn't pay attention to that later. Okay, well that was our stupid ass bug. Good thing I decided to investigate it, rather than just shrug and say, well, it mostly works, which is what programmers usually do. All right, so we're gonna do this, read only it. There we go. There we go. So we were always one save delayed in reporting our message, which was stupid. All right, great. Boom. Boom. Awesome. Awesome. That's the thing. Okay, hold on. Let me check this in, and I have a little mini rant. Report a save failure visually when that happens. Actually, before we do that, game report. So we're going to say fader is this. What's the default sustain time? 2.5. We'll make it stay up for 7 seconds. 7-minute abs. All right. 7-minute abs. Look how long that's staying up. So many abs. That's great. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Now we check it in. So yeah, I mean, this sort of naturally improves as you get better at programming. But one thing that I've noticed in my own skill development is that when I was not as good of a programmer as I am now, however good, I mean, you might think I suck now, whatever, but when I was not as good as I am now, relatively, I would definitely have a tendency to try to sweep stuff under the rug sometimes, because it's just so difficult to get things working, and oh my God, it's so hard to, I just want things to run, and then when they appear to kind of run, it's like, well, you know, it's fine. And it's not fine, like, first of all, because there are genuinely bugs when things don't work exactly correctly. But secondly, the more of those you leave floating around, the harder you make your job for later, and the more you put a ceiling on what you're going to be able to do, because those complications are going to trip you up in some way sooner or later, right? So if anything seems weird, like I started making this explanation, like I don't know how much latency there is in the Windows UI to making it read-only, but I was thinking about that and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That excuse doesn't jive with what I was really seeing exactly in terms of timing. And like, isn't it weird that it always happened when I did the next save, right? So you have to like have a bullshit detector on your own tendency to want to slack off, basically. And that will make you a much better programmer, regardless of any other variable. The entire web is run with that mentality today. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That error message doesn't really give the user anything actionable. That's true. The thing is, I'm not sure. The problem is that telling people something actionable across all the operating systems we will ever ship on is not clear how to do that. I mean, maybe we should think about that later, but like even right now, okay, say the atomic swap of one file onto another is fails. Why did it fail? I don't really know. I'm not sure that Windows gives us enough information to really know. We definitely log in the log that was the cause of the failure, and the user can send us logs, which is typically what we do if someone has a really weird problem. But like, what do you report to the user? If the atomic swap of one file to another fails, what do you report to the user that's going to help them solve that problem? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I answered your game rule question already. Why are you asking that again? I just answered that 5 minutes ago. Jesus. Atomic swap from one file to the other failed. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, I would like to say something actionable. What if this happens on an iPad? Actually, we've had surprising numbers of save problems on iOS because like iCloud is really weird and it's hard to understand what to do correctly when you're saving people's files in iCloud. I don't know. So we have all these weird, well, not a lot, but relative to our other platforms, we have weird iCloud save errors. And I legit don't know what we would print people if we were to patch the game on iOS. I don't know what we would say to help it be actionable. Like, it's just not, this is just not something, I don't know. I mean, definitely on Windows, we could start detecting common situations like, oh, we couldn't overwrite the file because it was read-only or whatever. Why don't you uncheck the read-only flag? But like, I'm not convinced, like that's a large project to try to find all of those, and I'm not convinced that I'm going to be able to do a good job is the other thing. But I agree, like it's not ideal. Ideally, you would tell the user what they could do to fix their problem. How do I do polymorphism for entities? I don't understand the question. Wait, entities? Do you mean entities like game entities, or do you mean like general things? I don't, you're going to have to be more specific about that question. Probably only a few common reasons it would fail. Open file, full disk, etc. Yeah, maybe. I could put that on the list for later, I think. I don't want to do it right now because, you know, like game development is, it's true. If like the most common one is full disk, right? If we handle full disk, we could say, look, if we know that it's because the disk filled up, we say this thing, otherwise we say this other thing. That'll help because that is the most common problem. Another problem is open file. So if we detect that, then it's like, sorry, your antivirus opened the file and then infinite looped, right? Or something. Like, I don't know if that's actionable because I'm not sure what the user can do about that, because modern operating systems are just a billion processes reading your files all the time that you don't know what's going on. But it would be more useful than a very generic error. That is true. So those two are probably worth putting in, at least for this game. I just don't want to do it now because it's incremental development, right? So let me put that on the to-do list. Detect common sources of error when failing to save a game and report these in a way that is hopefully a bit actionable. Examples: full disk, or what did we just say? This is what happens on 5 hours of sleep. Full disk, or open file in another process, right? You could wait a while and save again. Yeah, we do that already, though, because we have an autosave system that'll kick in, right? So that's okay. If you want to delete a file and it says some program is still reading from it, even though you already closed everything. Aha, you think you closed everything. But the thing that is probably reading from that file is your, whatever this is called, the Windows Explorer or whatever. That holds files open all the damn time, and it's super annoying. Or, I don't know. I mean, some background task that doesn't clearly show up. It's so annoying, dude. Okay. So we report visually when save games fail. That's great. Okay, so there's a problem that I want to investigate. At what percentage of total game development time does the to-do list begin to shrink? 80% question mark. Well, it depends on your to-do list style, right? Like, I don't ever try to list out every single thing I think will need to happen for ship at the beginning of the project because I don't know most of those things, right? So at the beginning of the project, the to-do list is actually not that long because you're just trying to get into the place where you have a game. So I think the to-do list actually can shrink often in the first half of development. It's just that it's going to radically unshrink later on, right? And I think it only really starts shrinking again in the last 10% or even the last 5%. I don't know. I mean, again, it depends on how much you finish your game and how much you care about details being correct, right? Because you care about details being correct, your to-do list will get longer faster. It depends on, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Well, is there any caffeine in these? I hope not. There is not caffeine. Okay. So the bug, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that there was a bug that happened in saving. It was not a threading related thing, but it was, and I even commented on it when I typed this in. I was like, we're iterating over the hash table. The hash table says that it has a certain number of items in it. And then we're iterating over the hash table and saving the items, right? At some point, this assert started failing. It wasn't on stream that this happened. This was like later when I was messing around. And then it happened on at least one other computer. It might have been due to some other code doing bad things, but it shouldn't be possible for the hash table to be wrong about how many things are in it. So I need to figure out. So I switched because people were going into work this morning and I was up at 7 a.m. I was like, oh, I better fix this. So instead of using, oh, geez, haha, I did the wrong thing anyway. I was going to say that I get this saved count, but I still write the wrong one to the file. Okay. Let's be paranoid about this. We're going to bump the version up to 5. We don't load anything less than 5. Because if this re-triggers, it could crash people and they'll be unhappy. All right. So I want to figure out, let's just go look at the hash table. I mean, that looks fine. Table clobber entry. We're not using that, but that shouldn't. All right. Well, I guess I want to go back. So since I checked this in, I want to go turn this assert back on. And just see if we can make it happen. All right, start again. Now we'll load that file. Let's try winning some levels. What are some, oh, we can do this. All right. I mean, it's possible that it happened due to some other bug, but, and the hash table itself is fine. I'm just not really sure. This is where it's hard. I don't know how to do the fourth dragon. I don't remember the solution. Oh. Haha. I'm a tricky dude. Okay, we'll get that later. Get this first. I'm a tricky dude. Oh, wait. See, I need to get in and get that. Oh, well, we can. I feel like the trick is to get this block out. I don't really know how to do it. Oh, we just have to push it. Okay, never mind. What am I doing? Just have to push it back there, right? Oh no, because I don't want to push it down there, I guess. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm playing the game. You know it's a fun game when you just want to play it instead of working. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to push this through there. Oops. There we go. Well, then I don't know what... I don't know what to do. All right. I feel like you can't actually push the green beam down to the bottom. Anyway, I've solved this before. I just haven't solved it in a long time. Okay, so, you know, I'm just trying to get this thing to happen. And it's not happening, which means possibly the proper course of action is to just leave the assert in. You know what I, whoops, you know what I mean? So that's another solve. Exit the area. So we've got solves, we've got visiteds. We're going to quit. Look at all these threads. What even, like 2 of these threads are created by our actual application. Oh, we have to debug this at some point. Some game sounds are quite loud compared to mic. Well, that's just life. There, we turned down the desktop. Like, what are all those threads? I don't even know. Maybe somebody else is starting some, but some of those are just C runtime library madness. Or, you know, whatever other libraries we're using, like Xinput and whatever. Okay. I'm just going to leave that assertion in, and we're going to see what happens. All right, let me check my email to make sure things aren't exploding. Back at the office. Yeah. All right, so people are telling me that this atomic swap thing should in fact work. Wait, is this not? Okay. This hasn't been modified in 2 weeks, so where? Oh, it's just in bin. That's not what I'm running. All right. Okay, so let's try. Didn't save the file correctly. All right. I keep running the wrong compiler. Okay, so well, let's just verify that it works. It sure should. Okay, let's also go fix this one. Oh yeah. Commit, switch variable back to bool. Now that LLVM backend already is fixed. Commit, change thread status variables back to bool now. Okay. That's great. Did that. So I was going to work on the Microsoft craziness situation because there's something, I forget what we're doing in there, but like the way we read the registry or something is not guaranteed to work. So I have to go back and do that. But I can't do it right now because I can't rebuild the compiler on this machine. Maybe I should have finished that work. So these are multiple things that I can't really do. Let's look at this invalid parameter to see runtime function. I really have no idea what that is. Will the game do some crazy things like the endgame of Baba Is You? I haven't done the endgame of Baba Is You, so I don't know. Well, I plan to finish Baba Is You sometime. But right now, I'm programming. Wow, there's 3 things I can only do on my work. Maybe I should go to the office and stop the stream. Okay. So when we get this invalid parameter passed, we could say set invalid parameter handler, and we get a callback. Like, why it doesn't just throw when that happens, I don't know. Many C runtime functions track the validity of arguments passed to them. If an invalid argument is passed, the function can set the error no number or return an error code. C runtime supplies a default global invalid parameter handler that terminates the program and displays a runtime error message. Well, it doesn't appear to be terminating the program. How often do we get this? I don't feel like we get it every run. Maybe it's only on certain levels. Let's see. Oh, no. Well, I'm not going to really be able to debug this either. Or maybe I will. Let's see if either Sokoban or the compiler calls this. No. Well, defer X is legal, yes. It does what the obvious thing would be. So this is a C runtime library function. I guess I could try calling this, but I don't know where. Well, we'll try it. So we're going to say we're going to handle our IP. Okay, and then IP handler takes these things That's it that we're going to do for now. Okay. Unable to resolve foreign function. What a surprise. It's probably a frickin' macro. Does not exist. Mingy, dude, it's so hard to search for anything on the internet now. I don't care about MinGW. Come on, bro. I mean, I could just start guessing where to find it. Does anyone happen to know anything about this, like where it actually lives? Anyone? Anyone? Google no longer even respects quotes as an indicator to search things verbatim. I know. It's so bad, dude. They don't need to care. They own the search market. They don't need to be a good search program. Yeah, I don't know. I think, I feel like Google is optimized for searching for like Kanye West and Cardi B and Donald Trump or something, right? Like, I think they consider that to be the function of the site. Let's try DuckDuckGo. I doubt it's going to be any better because part of the problem is the modern internet is just very noisy. But I don't know what to search for even. Is it only in So this invalid parameter no info is maybe not even related. I don't want invalid parameter no info. I want this entire word. That's the problem, is like everybody's talking about invalid parameter no info or like entity component system, and you can't search for the thing you actually want to search for because the search engine thinks you want what everybody's talking about. You know, everybody's talking about green threads. Could just build it in and have it do not. What? What do you even mean? Build it in and have it do not. I have no idea what you're talking about. MSVCR 90.dll. Well, the problem is it has to be the same. So now we're getting fucked by the whole Microsoft thing about there's 10 zillion runtime libraries, right? Like, I almost guarantee you that we have multiple C runtime libraries coexisting at once, which are not supposed to happen because it's impossible not to, right? So the problem now is like, I don't actually know what runtime library generated that error, and it's not telling me. We could try this, but that's like not going to be the same library that we're using over here. Well, we don't even have that one. Is there supposed to be a T there? Whatever. I don't know. I have very little patience for this kind of thing. You thought I was just trying to get it to link. No, I'm trying to know where this lives. I just want to know where that lives. You statically compile everything that isn't some sort of 4K demo type project for this reason. Yeah, the problem here is we have to run arbitrary code from the compiler at runtime after startup, so we have to dynamically load it because we simply don't know what we're going to run. Can you put error messages into the libraries? No, these are Microsoft libraries that we only have the binaries for. These are not our code. This is a Microsoft C runtime library error message. Someone is sending me the page for set invalid parameter handler that I was looking at 20 minutes ago on stream. It's not really helping unless you wish to point out something on this page that I didn't notice that will solve the problem. Like, why does the default not print these arguments? Why does the default handler not tell me? Because that's the only reason I want to install my own, is to know what function is being called incorrectly. Like, why does the default parameter handler not do that? We're just getting killed. Dude, programmers are just getting killed by layer after layer after layer of like mediocrity and like just weird complications that none of this should be a problem. This is exactly the kind of thing that makes me want to quit programming. It's the thing I have no patience for whatsoever. Can you not make a quick C++ program that uses that function and see what it gets linked to? There's no, dude, it's probably a half an hour for me to set up a new project in Visual Studio and get it to link. I'm not even joking. It lives in min kernel crts ucrt source app crt misc invalid parameter.cpp. What does that mean in terms of what library it gets compiled into? I mean, is there not an underscore? Is it a double under? Am I just getting bitten by underscores? Should I start dump binning? Three underscores. I could start dump binning my libraries. Like, we're getting bitten by so many things. First of all, we're getting bitten by the fact that you have object code libraries that are separate from source code. Second, we're getting bit by all the combinatorics of it. Third, we're getting bit by the weird, not complete backward compatibility, never cleaning up anything that Windows does. Four, we're getting bit by the whole switch over to UCRT and like Windows runtime fiasco that they did, that they're now walking back. Fifth, we're getting bit by the fact that somebody didn't bother to like say what the function is in the default handler. We're getting bit by like several more things than that, all at the same time. Like, if one or two of these things were not true, the situation would be way better. But they're like all true at once, and it's just too much at some point. Maybe one of these: include lib, libcmt, include lib old names. I mean, are those... Are those like dependencies of CRT? Because I don't think we load those. Okay. Oh, I guess, right, never mind. I'm getting confused now. Well, let's see. Libcmt, that doesn't feel right, but yeah, I don't even know libcmt what. Like, it probably has a version, right? Like, all of these have fucking version numbers. Yeah, I don't. And then I don't even remember where to look. Like, what are these folders? Where? VC runtime.lib. Let's just search our whole hard drive. Fuck it. We're getting bit by the fact that the Windows file search is slow and terrible. It's just, oh my God, dude. The symbols appear mangled in msvcrt.lib on your machine. Well, let's take a look at that. And the problem is, this isn't just a waste of my time, it's a waste of like everyone's time. Whoever programmed. It's so bad. This is like my #1 issue at this point. Oh, it's actually mangled. Okay. This is why we're not finding it. Because it's not a frickin'... Are they crazy? It's not even like a C declaration symbol. It's like, it's a C++ That's why we can't find it. Oh my God, thanks for doing that. I should have done that. Where are the libraries? Let's start with that. Where do they even live? Anymore? Like, this one doesn't appear to be mangled. Well, this is like a different, I don't even know what that is. MSVCR 100, I don't know what that is. All right, program files. Microsoft Visual Studio, right, okay. Hey, look at how many zillion libraries we have. And look, I can't, like it's the year 2020, I can't even drag this over to see the rest of this file name when I'm in search mode because they put most of their programmers on the UCRT or whatever, Windows Runtime Store app, whatever. Like, holy shit. It's just so frustrating at some point. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, why are you telling me the whole file name? This is the root that I'm searching from. This is the same for all of them because that's the root that I'm searching from. What? Yeah, someone's saying use Linux. Yeah, if I were to use Linux, I would have thrown the computer out the window 20 minutes ago. We wouldn't even be here. Okay, now I get to figure out how to see the file names. In the file search dialog, the whole point of which is to show me where the files are. What is content anyway? What does that mean? This is so bad. This is a professional operating system made by a company with who the fuck knows how many people on the operating system team. This is like Linux. This is just like Linux. Windows and Linux are converging. I can't figure it out. I have to use a different file search program. I have to open this thing. Maybe this will tell me. I hope that's even the right place. Hey, look, it's telling me in a reasonable way what the subfolders are and which one of these is for which architecture. Who would have thought of putting that in a file search utility? The details view had a folder column that I could expand. What, this? No, that information. Oh, wait, over here. Okay. Okay, there we go. I mean, this is very hard to read, but the information is there. This is easier to read. People are telling me to link, guys. Oh my God. Never mind, I'm not going to respond. All right, so we've got these. So we can do something like I don't know. Can I copy folder location? What happens if I don't want multi-line input. Guys, I want the file. Why is software so bad? What? It's all just... I don't know how regular people put up with computers. I can't put up with computers anymore. No wonder nobody uses computers anymore if they don't have to. They just use their phone, which is bad enough, but it's better than this. Like, why? All right. I just accidentally pasted. I don't have dump in my path because why would I? Now I get to figure out where the fuck is dump in. Is that in here? Yes, it is. Okay, of course there's 17 of them. All right. Look at this giant rat hole that I'm going down just because some guy didn't print the parameter of what function. Holy fuck. All right. This is the thing. You just get killed by a bunch of small, like no one of these things is that bad. But when our global software discipline is so lacking that we just throw out a pile of all these things, this is just hateful. If this was what programming was every day, I would not be a programmer. I simply wouldn't. I wouldn't do this for a living, right? This is so unproductive and so like unpleasant. This experience is unfit for human beings. Okay. All right, so we've got dump in. This one is like here. Of course, the path is too long for the window. So then I can go there. Now it's going to not let me write to the C drive because it's an asshole. God damn, dude. Just all these things. All right, did we finally... All right. Oh, that's the wrong option. Okay. Dependents, exports, headers, line. I don't remember even what. I remember now that these options don't make enough sense for me to understand what to do. I guess we're going to dump in all. Like exports doesn't actually export the exports. I don't know. Making actually good software is pretty hard. No, it's not that hard, actually. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as we are making it. Let me put it that way. And having a casual attitude like this, like, oh, it's pretty obvious that the products won't be top-notch, is very dangerous because, like, this is the thing that you won't understand if you're young, is these systems are getting worse and worse, okay? They're not getting better. Computers are getting worse. They're getting less effective. They're getting less robust, right? They're getting slower, offset only by the hardware. They're getting massively slower. They're getting much more complicated to understand and use. They're getting much easier to make mistakes with, okay? And they're just getting more aggravating. All these variables are increasing over time, okay? It's going to collapse. It has to collapse because it's just a giant pile of garbage right now. So if your attitude is, well, you know, what, everybody's just making a giant pile of garbage, what do you expect? I can't agree with that, okay? Now, it looks to young people like this is what computers are, but it's not what they used to be, and it's not what they should be. Do I think this applies to Linux too? Yeah, no, Linux is worse than this actually. So that's all fine. Okay, so I mean, this is bad, but Linux is easily worse. We need to burn down like 98% of all this code and start over now that we have a better idea how to do it. That's the only thing that is going to help. And by burn down, I don't mean like violently burn down, but you just start fresh. Start fresh, start over, do it right this time. Because all of this is just bananas. It's bananas. Okay, so what were we even, I forgot now what we were even doing. We were looking for set invalid parameter handler. Okay. Well, it sure looks mangled to me. And there's sure a lot of them. So, okay, if I actually want to call this procedure, which one of these names do I have to use? Is it one of these? How do I know? How do I know which of these is the right one? There's like two of them. that take different, I assume the second one is the longer one that takes more arguments. No. So this one is probably, this is going to be the one with fewer arguments, which probably is calling this as a helper or something. Demangler.com, that's a thing? Wow, let's try this. I mean, what happens if I just, maybe the imp will confuse it. Okay, so yeah, it takes a function pointer, right, with all this stuff. What? What even is this? Dude, I can't even read. Now we're in the problem with C++ declarations being impossible to read. Okay, let's try the shorter one. Okay. It takes an int argument. I kind of don't buy that. I think this output is just wrong. It's like trying to, like what? All right. Anyway, I mean, I guess I'm going to try this one. And if it crashes, I will try the other one. So now, oh, I forgot on the list of things we're being bit by, the fact we're being bit by multiple new issues, right? One of them is that the object file format, first of all, is fundamentally flawed because there's only one name that could ever be exported globally from a collection of symbols. So like that causes all kinds of problems already. And ignoring that, then the whole name mangling thing was a way of like trying to deal with that. And so now we're being bitten by both also the insufficiency of this format and the name mangling on top of it. It's just, I don't remember my syntax for this. Let's see if that helps. Okay, well, we can't find that. We need the imp question mark. Why did I not copy the imp question mark? So does this imp mean it's not the real declaration? Like, I don't even know how mangling works. Like, do I really just want it starting with the question mark? Like that's an import reference, right? It's like I really want this. I don't know. I don't do this often enough to know what to do here. Try it with the imp. I don't think the imp is the right thing. I mean, we could certainly try it the full bananas. Have I tried msvrct100.dll without the mangling? It doesn't matter because we're not using msvrct100.dll. Like, I need to set the handler in the library that we're using to run the code. I can't pick, I suppose I could pick an arbitrary one temporarily and then hope that I can compile everything and then switch back afterward or something. All right. I should have started the clock when we started looking into this issue because we've made negative progress. We haven't even started debugging the actual issue, and it's been like an hour at least. I'm so mad about this. Is it something else that I don't control trying to call that, or am I trying to call it? I am trying to call this because this is the function that Microsoft says that you call in order to set a handler so you can actually find out when it gives you the error message, where the error message is coming from. It's the stupidest thing you've ever heard of today. There definitely were stupider things yesterday, I'm sure. Try compiling a C++ program who calls it from the standard headers and inspect what symbol it is actually calling. We could do that. The thing is, making a new C++ program on Windows is so painful, I'm inclined not to do it. My brain just doesn't want to do it. I mean, maybe I just have to do that, but it's too much. Like, what happened to the days when I could turn on my Commodore 64 and it would turn on instantly and I could type 10 print hello, 20 go to 10? Like, those were good days. We don't have those days anymore. Can I just do it in C? Same thing. I don't even know how to invoke the compiler on the command line correctly for C or C++ programs. Microsoft is making it as difficult as possible to do that. So I would have to try to use Visual Studio, create a new project in some fucking folder, and then the files there's 10 million extra files all over the place, and it won't compile with the right options anyway, and like, God only knows, dude. I mean, I guess we're getting pretty close to doing that, but I don't even, okay, say I do that, what do I even check? Because we're just going to check what it's calling, and it's going to be like this, right? The fact that these are imps, doesn't that mean that they're not actually defined in here? Or does this mean that it is defined in here? I don't have enough experience with these files to know. Like, we've got imps and we've got non-imps, and I don't know what that means. There is an object file in here with this name. So that implies that the code is in here, I guess. These are undef, external. But these appear to be in here, I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is one thing that would be easier on Linux. If I wanted to just make a fast C program and compile it from the command line, that is very easy. You say gcc or clang -c blah -o blah. And then you probably, I don't know if you manually run LD anymore. But like Microsoft is trying to make it so you can't even, Like there used to be a Visual Studio command shell that would at least have all that stuff in the path for you. And like, as far as I can tell, that doesn't even exist anymore because it's been deprecated or something. So like, you like can't even, they don't want you to do anything except run Visual Studio, and that's super frustrating. Here is an example command line call. It compiles first.cpp. What command line? You didn't paste an example. Is it possible to look at the implementation of that function? No, and I don't care. I don't have the source code to the Microsoft C library right now. I guess you could get that under some conditions, but it's a giant pain in the ass. They still have the VS Dev console. Console. I don't know what. Last time I tried to use one of these, it didn't do the right thing. I don't think. I mean, I could try. No, see, like you try to run one of these and it gives you an error. This started happening. Well, I mean, this is the Visual Studio 2015 one, and I have like 2018 installed. So I don't know. One is administrator, I am administrator. What? Like I said, this started happening with the newer versions of Visual Studio, which is why, so this is one of the things that made me go and do the Microsoft craziness so that the compiler would not require environment variables to be set to find anything, because we used to rely on this Visual Studio command prompt and it stopped working reliably. Try using CL. Nope. 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 Can you go into the application menu of your start button? There should be a dev console link. What is the application menu? I don't even know. Is it under M for Microsoft Visual Studio? Is it under Visual Studio 2017? That's just fucking. All right, this is stupid. This is so many levels of stupid, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, why I can compile a C++ program, I guess, that's so far away from what I want to be doing right now, but I could do that, and it would just tell me this, probably. The ones I am highlighting right now are different from what I tried. No, it looks the same. What one what's? This is the short one, this is the long one. If you're saying I should try the long one again, it's like, well, how many different permutations do you want me to try? I don't. All right. Try an unmangled symbol to be sure the object file is guys. Holy fuck. Object file is found. Guys, making totally random suggestions is not helping. Like, It's really not helping. Like, I need somebody who knows what's going on. I don't need random suggestions from the peanut gallery. The ones starting with imp are different from the ones that don't start with imp. No, they're not. Actually, this one is different. Oh, they are different. Wait, there's like an extra, it's mostly the same, but not the same. Okay. Okay, I see. Well, let's, yeah. I mean, can I get any of these question mark ones? At this point, I just have to go off and like learn about the file format. Like, what about this? Okay, that it finds. So anything that's like not mangled or that like doesn't have a question mark. See, these it's all finding. So what does the question mark mean? Is the question mark not part of the name? Is that like optional? Do I just do this? Question mark is not a good sign usually. Is the mangle format just that it starts with a question mark? Is that just how they did it in Windows? It looks like everything that's mangled has a question mark and then maybe a little bit of like a format thing or something. Then all the unmangled things don't. Let's try something let's try this one. I bet we could find this one even. No. Let's put an XX here just to. So what section are we even in here? Public symbols. So how do we know which are the symbols that are actually in this file? I mean, can I like look this up? Are some of these like private? Again, like I don't know the format at all. Right, so I can't look this up. At least, I mean, we're using get proc address on this, so I don't know if get proc address like fails if things aren't marked as procedures in some way, or if they're not in the right segment. Like, what is mode? Question mark is part of the mangling scheme, so you don't understand why it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't understand why it doesn't work either, but I don't understand. So at least, so if I can try to pull anything positive out of this experience, I've given up on actually trying to debug this bug, right? Forget that. That's impossible at this point. Which is very ironic because the whole reason they put in that error message is ostensibly to help you debug a problem in your program. And it doesn't do that. And I can't have it help me do that. So the least bit of positive thing that I can pull from this is to like learn a little bit more about what a PE dump tells me. Not like I really want to know that much about the PE format, but I kind of have to. Like, it's especially goofy because, like, dude, I wrote code from scratch to save out PE files, and it's in the compiler and running, and, like, I still don't know how to interpret this output, which is, yeah, I don't know. Use undname. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But saying assume C++ linkage, like, look. Okay, where are you even quoting from? Okay, we don't want to undecorate the symbols. This is not, you guys are quoting from like, how do I unmangle a name? We don't care about unmangling the name. You need to use the mangled name to link to the thing in the file, all right? We just need to know what the right name is. We don't need to know the mangled name, not the unmangled name. Unmangled name is not going to help us in any way, okay? This is why comments from the peanut gallery are not helping. You just uninstalled Visual C because it wouldn't run anymore. That's too bad. So, right, the point of this output that we are looking at, ostensibly, is that these are the actual names that you use to refer to the symbols in the file, okay? Now, the confusion comes that at least when I'm calling get proc address, I can't actually look all these things up. I don't know if they're like, I don't know enough about the format that like, if things are not, I don't remember if things can be marked only referable by other symbols in the same file, like private versus public. Maybe that's going on. Maybe this mangled name is wrong somehow. I don't actually know. I don't know why there are import symbols when the symbols are defined in this file. That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe they're there from when object files were merged before. and then you just don't get rid of the import symbol and you package it instead. I don't know why you would do that, but maybe there's a reason to do that. Can it be that the code for those symbols is actually in the static lib, not in the DLL associated with the static lib? Well, so for all, this is again one of those things that gets confusing. For all the Microsoft libraries, there's a static version and a dynamic version, right? And the static version, or no, the dynamic version, right, has the stub lib and the DLL. In theory, hopefully what we're looking at is the actual DLL that you link. I don't know that for sure now that you bring it up. What? Now I'm searching for the wrong thing. So like, why are we saying 788 public symbols twice and then two different lists of symbols? Like, why are there two lists of symbols? So I don't understand that. Are there more than two lists of symbols? So we have a bunch of symbols. We have offsets. I don't even know. Okay, the offsets are before this. Why are there a different number of offsets than symbols? I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure I dealt with that because, again, I programmed a thing that writes these files, so I should know, but it was a long time. I don't remember very much. It links from UCRT on your test project. It's not mangled. Well, that's like, I don't know. I don't know. UCRT base.dll contains the function. I don't know. Let's just try this. Well, there is no UCRT.dll. UCRT base. There is no UCRT base.dll. Unless it lives somewhere else. Like in Windows Kit root or whatever. Do I get to search through all this now? I don't. Oh, wait, why didn't we see this? Did it just take too long to search that I hit back before this came up? All right, we'll try this. I don't know how this helps us exactly, but okay. Error could not open urtcrtbase.lib. So what do I actually have to lib link in order to get CRT base? Lib is ucrt.lib. Why is the lib name something different from the DLL? Now I have to like add compiler features. So we need to link both dynamically and statically, all right? We need to link dynamically because we run code from within the compiler, and we need to link statically because we're generating a statically linked executable, okay? We do both. Haven't lib names always been different from DLL names? No. I mean, we've done all of this with lib names and DLL names being the same. So I don't understand why they're suddenly making it different. The problem isn't, I just can't. Can't deal. I'm just going to quit software now. So now there's too many dependencies. So now I could add a feature to the compiler to deal with this for some reason, but I can't do that without pulling down a new repository because I have a mod or finishing that other bug thing. So this is the point at which I just throw the computer out the window and do it later when, yeah. No, it's just, I mean, most of the things on my to-do list that need to be done are stuff I got to do for my office computer because, again, the compiler version on this computer is not ready to be built. I could copy my working thing to the side and update, but like, that's just a step where if I do that, I'd rather just finish the thing that I'm working on there. But I don't want to do that right now because I want to work on the game right now. Like all of this, again, all of this is just ridiculous, okay? all I want to do is call a function. That's like the most basic thing that a program does, is it calls a function, right? How hard can you make it for me to figure out how to call a function? This is why things are so screwed up today, all right? It's again, it's complexity, layered on complexity, layered on complexity. And a lot of the time you don't think about all the complexities because things are fine, but when suddenly things are not fine, you know, we're getting bitten by so many things. Like, why is there a different lib file from a DLL file? Why is that even something that anyone ever did? Why don't you just put them all both in the same file? Then they can't have different names. Then you're not going to get confused about what corresponds to what. It's just ridiculous. I mean, why not even make them the same content? Just have, if you want to generate position independent and position non-independent code, just put both versions in the lib. Why didn't we ever just be dynamically linking libs in the first place? Like, why did somebody introduce a different file format just because you want to dynamically link versus statically link something? It doesn't make any sense. And we just keep doing this over and over and over, and nobody ever goes back and does it better. We just keep adding to the mess, and it's too big of a mess now. It is too big of a mess. Wasn't I going to remove the Microsoft CRT runtime dependency? Well, how do I do that if I don't even know what CRT functions we're calling? That's one of the things we're trying to do, is figure it out. Right now, we do have a dependency on at least malloc and free. We're calling those. I could do some work. I mean, see, the problem now is that I got 5 hours of sleep. If I got more than 5 hours of sleep, I would be like, well, maybe the right move is to replace the allocators and decrease our dependency on libc anyway. The problem is, at some point, though, the problem is we don't know where that error is coming from. It's coming from somewhere in the Microsoft libc, okay? We literally don't know where. And so even if we get rid of the compiler's dependencies on libc, we may be using some libraries to compile the game that still need to go back and do that. So for example, we're linking against a Lightmap-Baker library that's written in C++, and that probably uses the C runtime library, right? So like, we're not going to be able to get rid of that from this program anytime soon. As much as I would like to do that. So it's not really a practical way to solve the problem. Guys, the problem is not how do you build an executable without a CRT dependency, okay? We know how to do that. The problem is, how do you compile everybody's code in the world that wants to use C libraries without a CRT dependency unless you like optionally take it, okay? That's the problem. It's not, again, the original problem is like 17 problems back. We've lost sight of it at this point. You can replace them with heap alloc and heap free. Well, you can, but like, dude, heap alloc is not an allocator that you want to call in a random way like malloc. It's not written for that, as far as I understand. So you don't just want to replace it with heap alloc and heap free. You want to replace it with a higher level allocator, and that's on the to-do list. Is new? No, new is not an operator in the programming language. No, Yeah, that was just something that we got by with for a while. And then once it became clear how to do it better, I took it out. There's a user level function called new that does the same thing, but it's user level. It's not built into the language. Okay. So my current problem is this function is in UCRT. Okay, here's my strategy. Here's what I can do to try to solve the problem. Instead of linking to it in the normal way, if I just want to use it in Sokoban, I can do some ridiculous thing where I load library and get proc address it. The problem is just, I don't really know if that's going to affect the same I guess we try it. I mean, if I load library CRT, UCRT, I mean, I guess we try it. All right. All right, we have a plan. All right. So do ridiculous things. I would have come up with this plan sooner if I'd gotten enough sleep, but I only got 5 hours of sleep. Okay, so we're going to say, we're going to not even worry about this. We're going to not even worry about this. We're going to not even worry about this. We're going to say lib is load library UCRT base. Right? Is that even how this works? Let's just see. Load library A. Okay, we loaded a library. Great. Proc is get proc address lib proc name, which I guess is going to be this. Okay, we got the procedure. Okay. We're going to say all right, well, okay, so now the question is our invalid parameter handler getting called at all? I don't know. Let's make a debug build. We were seeing this message from the debugger output window. Oh, we don't want this. All right. So well, let's just quit. Hey, we did all that. Look, it didn't help because it's not getting called. Oh, you know what? Well, this is wrong, but I don't know if that matters. I'm running the wrong compiler now. Okay, quit. I don't know, guys. I tried. I did everything that I could do. Like, I'm calling the procedure. Is there a return value for this? Why does it return the argument? Oh, the invalid parameter before the call. Old handler. Oh, I'm not returning the, okay. Duh. Okay, well, that's a procedure. So it's returning us something. It's just, this doesn't matter. It's not setting the actual handler that is being used by the actual code. And I don't know how to do that. Oh, sorry, right, I was looking at these. No, this, old handler 0, which is fine too, that seems right. Let's call it twice. Right? That'll at least tell us if we're calling something. Here, I should put all my new lines down here. That's what was confusing me. All right. Yeah. So, well, putting this 2 there is confusing, but yeah. And then yeah, same number. So, I mean, I don't know what to do at this point. I don't have a reasonable route. Like, there's all sorts of problems. Like, we may be erroneously linking to multiple libcs, which you're not supposed to do, but it happens all the time because Microsoft makes it very hard to not do that. Often there are cases like if you load a DLL that I believe DLLs like need to have their own instance of libc or something. So if those error messages are being generated by a loaded DLL, I don't even know how we would figure out where to even try to set a handler in that case. I don't know what you guys are saying. Like, the comments from the peanut gallery are not helping, okay? Yes, this is the non-debug version. Yes, this is also the non-debug version, right? So, like, what are you guys saying? They're saying the non-debug version is a dummy. But then why is the default handler getting called? Like, I would think that if they were going to put something, if they weren't going to, like, take out this reporting mechanism in the release libc, then they would actually take out the reporting mechanism that reports the invalid parameter, not just prevent you from setting a hook to call instead. That doesn't, I mean, I guess that could be true. It just doesn't seem to make very much sense. The guy using get module handle instead of load library might be right. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I dig that. That makes sense. That is one of the first things that people have said that actually makes sense. Which is part of why I got so frustrated earlier, is because, like, I'm tired, 5 hours of sleep, I'm trying to figure this stuff out, and there's just 300 people saying random shit, most of which is not helpful, right? So a little bit of it has been helpful, but most of it has not been helpful at all. It's like having Stack Overflow every time you turn your head. Okay. Well, I mean, we've definitely got a library still. I don't feel like anything's different, but let's see. Whoops, wrong compiler version. All right. The peanut gallery. I know that people are trying to help, which is why I'm not trying to be too annoyed, but, like, I know. Thank you for trying to help. It's just sometimes it's not as helpful as we wish it was. No, I do appreciate people trying to help, though. And also, just, if you're in the chat, what are you going to do? You're trying to participate. That's what people are here for. So it makes sense that people are saying, okay, well, it still doesn't do anything. Good thing we have 375 threads, though. More like a Hacker News comment thread, maybe. So I don't know what to do now. I honestly don't. Like, we're calling the thing on the module that is loaded. Unless there's versions of this that are in different modules that are loaded. I could start enumming all the modules if there's a way to do that. And, like, search for this in all of them and call it in all of them. Why are people saying check in Visual Studio? That is not, no, that's not what happens. It isn't, yeah, no. Can I try a UCRT based debug build? Not really. Not without changing the compiler. And like I said, I can't do that right now. Now you're trying to reset your Microsoft password so you can use Visual Studio, but every time you enter a new password, it says this information is required. Yeah. Welcome to my whole life every time I try to use anyone's website anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy, dude. Share the code, we will fix it for you. No, judging from these comments, you guys ain't fixing anything, okay? Well, there's a couple people in the chat who could fix things, and yeah. I'm sorry, but it's true. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, okay, what else could I do besides enum all the loaded modules? Can I, if I say UCRT, will that do something? I don't think it will. I don't think that'll work, but yeah, it doesn't load. Why is it a different name? That doesn't make any sense. What if I get msvcrt.dll? Okay, the procedure is not there. We load it, but the procedure is not there. So it doesn't like your 32 character pattern. What are you thinking? Websites are only web scale. They can't handle 32 characters. That's more than web scale. Maybe UCRT.lib has more things than just UCRT base. Well, maybe it does, but we're successfully looking up this procedure. So we are finding it. Yeah, it could be. So the theory that it could be not being triggered is possible. You know what I could do? I could do, okay. It's not exactly true that I can't switch this to debug without changing the compiler. Because I could repaste the link line here. Is it UCRTD? Like what is it? Oh, no, I got to go to the Windows kit. C, program files. God, it's just all blurs together. Windows kits, 10 lib 16299. So it's just libucrtd or u, okay. So we can get this and make that debug. Okay. Whoops, didn't do it right. The console was non-responsive because it took that long to paste that much text. Dude, programs are so screwed. Okay, so okay, we did actually link this. So let me go back to here. Is it UCRT base D? Is it based UCRT from 4chan? We're going to rerun the compiler to, whoops, wrong compiler. We're going to rerun the compiler. Okay, we're going to repaste the frickin' link line with the, is this the right one? UCRTD. We probably should have made MSVCRTD and stuff, but we didn't, so sue me. What happens if I try to run it? We are looking up this handler. One thing that's suspicious to me is I never see that output except in Visual Studio. I never see it in our own program. All right, so close. Still not happening. So that was ostensibly debug I mean, I guess we want the debug CRT. So we'll do that. Of course, that's going to be a different libc than the one that all of these other libraries are compiled. See, this is the problem. This is the fundamental error with the way that C works in Windows, is like, these guys are linked against other libcs maybe. And I don't know, right? Look how long that takes. Oh my God. Okay, well, I just can't, like, nothing I do is letting me do this. Although, okay, here's a question, guys. What if what I'm doing is actually working? Okay. See where these errors are? This is the outside of the box thinking. This is not that far outside of the box. Like, these are all the messages that Visual Studio gives us as we load libraries. And yeah, damn, dude, I wish it wasn't so many libraries, but this is Windows in the year 2020, okay? We load a bunch of stuff, some threads exit, we load a bunch more stuff, and then we get these errors, right? Maybe this is all happening just after load time before we set the handler, right? Maybe this is just like loading, maybe X input is fucking all this up, and it's not even our problem at all. And then we set the handler like down here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You wonder if the output you're looking for is going to immediate window instead of output windows in VS. I don't know the difference between those things. Oh, you know what we should do actually is set a breakpoint in it. What is even called what we've been doing? So like, I don't think that's ever happening. Except the breakpoint will not currently be hit. No symbols have been loaded for this document. Why? Dude, we're getting bitten by thing after thing, and it's just not, it's not okay. How did that go so fast? It claims it's linking that fast. I don't know if I believe it. Oh wait, we want to run from the debugger. What is even happening now? Oh wait, I am in the debugger. Set a breakpoint. Nope, it won't do it. Why won't it do it? I do not know. Let's go back to LLVM build. Maybe we accidentally made an x64 build. Okay, this one, debug everything. We'll dir it. Why do we not have any symbols for this file? What even is, dude, we're so many problems nested deep. It's insane. It's insane. Is VS running the right exe? Yes, it is. I hope. I haven't changed it in forever. Output debug string A, okay. Is that the right arguments to that? All right. Wait, what? What just happened? Oh, we didn't get the... Oh, okay. So now what happened is we ran it, we compiled and ran it, and we tried to load the module for CRT base D, but we didn't do the link step where we make the debugs, which probably isn't going to help anyway. But because of that, we didn't load the module. Okay. I don't see any cowabungas. There are no cowabungas. Okay, so here's what I wanted to do, though. Maybe I am not going to be able to do it, but I just wanted to break here. I can't even break there, dude. All right, new plan. Return. Why am I doing return? Because I'm going to do the following thing. Okay, we started, we exited. We do not see those error messages. Okay? Which leads me to believe that we were indeed installing the handler before they came out. So the handler just doesn't work, as nearly as I could tell. Or there's like many instances of C libraries, in which case, of course, it doesn't work. What are you expecting? You guess the default handler calls output debug string A as well. Could try setting a breakpoint. I mean, it maybe is output debug string W. Let's see. Let's recompile. All right. Output debug string W. Let's go step into, okay. Oh, wait. Do I actually have source for the clib installed on this machine? Did I actually do that? Security init cookie. Let's do it down here. Output debug string A. I don't think it's working. Nope. Nope. If I just knew, I mean, if I knew the name of what prints that. Okay, I didn't realize that I have at least some of the source on my machine. I must have actually checked that box. So let's try going there and just search for this string and hope it's not being pulled from some internationalized string database. Microsoft Visual Studio 2017, professional, VC, tools. Do we have enough folders yet? CRT, source, okay. So if I'm going to search here with a real search program, not this thing, and I'm going to search for invalid parameter. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong field. Well, it's not in any file in the CRT source. Well, in whatever this passes as. That's helpful. Why is this in like link op? What am I looking at? So this has all just been removed, right? initializes the invalid parameter handler, they forgot the word handler, to its default behavior, which terminates the process. No, it doesn't. You guys know what I say about like comments being code that never runs? Like, this is the quality of code that we're dealing with here. This is professional operating systems. There is also the UCRT source in the WinSDK folder and the CRT in the VS install folder. See, I don't even know, like, this is so much stuff. Like, what is in the CRT versus the UCRT source? And like, why is there so many things now? This is overridable at link time by linking with one of the link options. Okay, well that opens up another thread of attack. Maybe I can, at link time, ask the linker to frickin' terminate the process for real, and then I would get an actual breakpoint thing, whatever. All right. I have a feeling that when we look up set invalid parameter handler, it's just going to be also a no-op. I have a feeling we wasted 2 hours on a no-op. Where is this file? T-source. Link ops, invalid continue. Empty invalid parameter handler. How many lines of code are we going to have to do nothing? Like what? Okay, that's the only thing I see here about invalid parameters. Dude, I think this was like replaced. I think this was removed from the C library a long time ago. And maybe we're linking to somebody who is just linked against a really old C library that's printing that. So a breakpoint on this might do it. I do need a break, but I also need a breakpoint. Is that an actual function that I can break in? No. Of course, now we have the underscore problem again. Is there actually... Why can't I... It's called settings. How many underscores is that? 2. That's not a procedure that I can break in. Let's try the 1 underscore. Aha! Aha! Okay, 1 underscore. I have a feeling it's still not going to matter. Nope. Still didn't matter. Wait, let's... Says the breakpoint's valid. And yet... You need to put breakpoints in all of them. How do I search for all of these? All right. All right. This is what we are being told. Let's just try setting them one at a time. Okay, great. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Does this syntax not work here? It's not finding these. Oh, wait, maybe they have to be loaded. Debug. Oh, no, we're loaded. We're running. Dude, we're running. So this isn't working. What do I do here? Add debug print to that list. Maybe it's 1 underscore as well. Aha. Okay. Okay. Wait, no. NTDLL. Maybe that's not loaded. Okay, and UCRT. Wait, that didn't add a line here. Does that mean it's redundant with a different one? Oh wait, I didn't copy correctly. I don't like that it's not showing the DLLs here. Because like, oh, UCRT base. Like, how do I go check later to make sure that they're all here? Oh, it's base D because we did the debug thing. There we go. Shouldn't you be able to print out where the string, figure out where the string that's being printed is loaded in memory and put a memory read breakpoint on that? Does Visual Studio let you set a memory read breakpoint? That would be interesting. That would be an interesting approach. I mean, I could put one in the program, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to restart now because these seem to happen. Well, didn't work. Debug print. I mean, it could very well be X input. Like, this is fishy that this is happening after this stuff and before X input. So it's possible that in addition to all the other layers of problems I've complained about, another problem is they just shipped X input full of bugs and it hasn't been maintained because nobody cares about it anymore, but nobody also provides a viable alternative anymore because everybody is so overworked by dealing with all these other bugs. Okay, debug print is being suggested. Okay. What happens? Oh, we got a breakpoint. We're breaking in debug print. Um, unfortunately, we don't. This looks like the right place because it was a bunch of these and then X input. What is iphlpappy.dll? If X input has its own static CRT, you won't be able to set a handler to it. Okay. Right-click the DLL, then load symbols. Do I have symbols for it? Add DNS configuration. Oh, we are, okay, I don't know why we're not getting symbols for our program. That stopped working apparently. Maybe that's just like a compiler bug. So I need to put that on the list. Symbols did not load. But well, I certainly know where we call that from. Here's the thing, though. We don't pass any arguments to that. I don't think. So like, and like, why is get adapters addresses somehow calling the libc? Well, hold on. Let's yeah, okay. When we hit continue, we're saying invalid parameter past the C runtime function. I don't see C runtime functions anywhere in this stack. Unless could also load symbols for NTDL. I don't think this is going to help. This is just going to tell us what we already know. Oh, actually, no, that's better. Okay. So when we, like, okay, can I just point out, I would just like to point out that if that invalid parameter handler did what it said it was supposed to do by default and terminate the process, we would have been at this point where we are now 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. Okay? Let me just say that. Because we would have just broken on exception and done whatever. Now, I assume they turned that off because everybody's programs were crashing all the time, right? And they didn't know why. But like, yeah. It could be that we're passing null. It could be that we're passing an invalid pointer that's generally mapped somewhere wrong. Fortunately, I think I know where this is, right? Well, we could just search for it. There we go. OS Windows. Okay. So, address family, flags, null for, well, maybe we're passing null for something that's not allowed to be null. That's possible. Buffer data and size. And it's calling WCS copy eventually, right? Wide character string copy. Secure. The underscore S is secure, which means we actually check our arguments, I think. Okay, so something is wrong about how I'm calling this. I pull Pappy. Okay, this is reserved. Okay, hold on. It's calling add DNS configuration. I'm starting to think this isn't my bug at all. Like, add DNS configuration? Like, what? Okay, anyway. I mean... Okay. Family. The address family. Okay, it's going to be AFINet. Great, we know that. The flags. Is 0. So this just disables things. Why is there like... We just want the MAC address anyway. So I don't know why we're talking about IP things down there. IP freely. Okay, so this is one of these weird functions. Maybe you can't a linked list of IP adapter addresses structures in the buffer pointed to by adapters addresses. You know, I assume it just doesn't like the way I'm calling it. Like, it might be that it responds badly if you give a buffer that's not a size of an even number of these things or something. Pre-allocate a 15K working buffer. Well, if they say that's recommended, then maybe that theory is not right. Like, why is this their sample code? Like, this is the worst thing in the world because, like, they're parsing arguments and whatever. Just, like, call the thing. All right. So family flags null, p addresses output bufflin. P addresses is, they're mallocing it for some reason, which is bizarre. So they said 15,000, I said 20,000. That should be fine. Mine is on the stack. Maybe they don't like it on the stack? Oh my God. You found a new undocumented flag for get adapters addresses called GAA flag skip DNS info. Are you serious? Why didn't this come up for the witness? It might have come up and we didn't notice. It might have started happening. Like, this doesn't look like my bug, honestly. This looks like somebody else's bug. Okay. Let's see what happens if we do this. Okay, let's go back to main. Let's remove all this stuff since this doesn't work anyway. See, this is also the problem with all of this philosophy of just never clean anything up and just keep shipping incrementally more complex everything is like, I wasted like an hour and a half. Oh, we need to define this. I wasted like an hour and a half at least, more than that, on that, trying to get that parameter info thing to work. I'm still not convinced there's any way to do it at all. It just looks completely deprecated. Nobody even says it's deprecated. All right, someone says it's OX0800. So we're going to try that. We're just going to hard code it right here for a second. Oops. Like all of these things, they just add up. They just add up. You wonder if I could have set a breakpoint on invalid parameter. I did try that and it didn't work. Maybe you missed that part of the stream. We set breakpoints on like 7 different invalid parameters in different modules, and none of them worked. Did you see the thing? Did you see this, by the way? Read this file if you haven't read this file. Read the comment at the top and then the code at the bottom. Can't say it's undocumented. Okay, this is so good. This is going on Twitter right now. I mean, Microsoft will probably sue me for tweeting a file that's copyright Microsoft Corporation. But, you know, they wasted 3 hours of my time, so whatever, man. 2.5 hours. Okay. So now, okay, we're using this flag. We recompiled. Let's recompile again just to make sure. We're going to run. Hey, guess what? Look, X input. There's no spam. Okay. So what we've established, this is a bug in somebody that calls, that get adapters addresses calls. It has to do with DNS, which we don't care about. Why you're initializing DNS, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for that last bit. Let's see this. So the question is, dude, the start of me debugging this was doing Google searches for this string. Wasn't it? Don't we remember me doing this? Maybe I didn't type in the exact string. I don't know. I believe I typed in most or all of it. Maybe I didn't quote it, because now this is like the second link. I don't know, man. All right. Well, we have fixed it. Thank you for helping. That was good help. Oh my God. All right. That was, do you know how many levels I can design in 3 hours and have a fun life? Okay. Well, since I just had such a very unpleasant Windows debugging experience, law of averages means that won't happen again for another couple years, right? Right? Okay, let's... And the funny thing was, of course, that bug probably has no effect on the output of our program, right? We might start up a microsecond faster, and we're not printing debug spam, which is good. But like, I don't think we actually fixed anything that would prevent the program from running, which is the reason that you go investigate that kind of thing, is because maybe the problem would have prevented the program from running. Maybe it was a serious problem, but it wasn't. Yeah. Document the insanity. That is a good point. Thank you. We should document the insanity. What is this? Why is this here? Well, it's because there seems to be a bug in get adapters addresses that outputs C runtime error spam to the debug output channel. The workaround is to skip the code that triggers this bug by... Now, the most ridiculous thing about this is, oh God. So when you saw that call stack, okay, none of this code was in the C runtime at all, okay? What that means is that parameter error checking code. Oh, actually, I guess WCS copy, but that was in NTDLL. So I guess it was copy and pasted. It used to exist in the C runtime library and was copy and pasted into the kernel. I forget, wasn't it? But they didn't change the message because they just copy and pasted the code. Oh, maybe it's just linked. Oh, maybe it was in IPHLP, whatever, .dll. Yeah, that sounds more likely. But the point is, I don't know what the point is anymore. Maybe it was inline. Maybe they like, no, it wasn't inline because it was there in the call stack. I don't know, dude. Static to NTDLL. So like, why is there a C runtime error message in NTDLL? Like, what's that about, right? That's something that somebody should go clean up. Shouldn't it terminate the program like it's supposed to do? Well, probably not, because it was probably just copy and pasted. What am I looking at here? Someone is disassembling invalid parameter. I don't know. I don't know what information am I supposed to be getting out of this? Did I ever test if my invalidated parameter handler got called by deliberately passing something invalid to a standard C function myself? No, because I don't know for sure who would generate invalid, like, I just don't know enough about that. Okay. You can just pass null to a secure function. Might be back to infinity -1. No, we're going forward because we did actually fix the problem. It's just it wasn't a problem, really. Okay. Oh, we're documenting this. The workaround is to skip the code that triggers this bug by using this flag. This is discussed at. It is also disgusting, but it is discussed. I wish I had seen this link first instead of the one about trying to set. Like, the whole reason I went down that road of trying to set an invalid parameter handler is because that was the web link that I happened to click on, and it made sense. Like, oh, if I can set the handler, then I can see the call stack, right? And like, none of that was actually true, apparently. But like, if I had happened to click on this other thing first, I might have just investigated get adapters addresses and solved the problem relatively quickly. Oh, okay. So this is discussed at this link. All right. We're going to check that in. Document annoying flag. Okay. Okay. Sparrow Checker would have been a great help here. We did fix it. It is fixed. Okay. So I think what's going to happen, I would have liked this to be a nicer stream where we actually got productive work done, but we did that instead. And now I think it's time for me to go to the office because, like I said, there's like 3 things that I could only really do there. When I come back, though, I think we'll do another stream tonight where we have leftover pizza and we do the load and save of the undo state. Because that could be challenging or it could go quickly. I'm not sure, but it'll be real work no matter what. We're not at infinity -3 yet because this problem was not enough to get us down 1, but by the end of tonight, we might reach infinity -3. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, okay, so first of all, that kind of stuff is always annoying, but secondly, it is a special spot in my personality that I hate that kind of thing so much. I hate it so much that it interferes with my ability to solve the problem because I'm just so hating the situation. I don't use the word hate very often for very many things, but that is one of them. Okay. Let's see if there's anybody that we could raid. I doubt it. I mean, let's face it. Oh, no. All right. Let's toss it back to Lana. We haven't raided her in a while. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. We'll probably do another stream tonight. This is sort of prime time. This is when we get the most viewers, but it's time for me to go to the office. So thanks for coming by. See you later.